things just took a major turn for the Milwaukee Brewers. They dropped Game 4 of the NLDS, and all signs are pointing to some major changes coming in Game 5, with a quote from William Contreras really setting things in a very interesting direction. We're going to be breaking it down, as well as going over multiple quotes, and also what we're in store for Game 5 here in this video. Before we do jump into the ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and that's if you haven't already, be sure to hit the sub button, join me here on the channel. We're covering everything Milwaukee Brewers every day here throughout the postseason, and we have until tomorrow to figure out if we move on to the NLCS, and we have a lot of content coming regardless, so you won't want to miss it. Be sure to hit the sub button, but we need to get straight into this, because obviously, heading into Wrigley Field, the Brewers were not ready. I think it is simple as that, and now going back to American Family Field for Game 5, this Brewers team is off on a different mindset, and seeing what this Brewers team did last game, a 6-0 loss, only 3 hits in this game, this was definitely not what the Brewers wanted to see in a Game 4, heading into an elimination game now for themselves as well in a Game 5. Now, this is something that at Wrigley Field the Brewers have done in back-to-back games, limited hits, limited runs, in this case no runs, and the Cubs have stormed away with the game. But this is something that, with Freddy Peralta on the mound, we wanted to see a win, and we needed to see a win in Game 4. And as we go and take a look at, where we really were, 19 total bases for the Cubs with 10 hits on 6 runs, 4 total bases with 3 hits for the Brewers, 6 left on base, 1 error. But going into this game, the pitching was really the thing that would have shut this game down, as well as the hitting. We knew in Game 3, they were not really going as we had planned. In Game 4, we needed a big bounce back. Did not happen. And as I've mentioned, trusting the bullpen here is one thing that this team does very well. Ultimately, they held it back again this game with Freddy Peralta giving up that 3-run home run in the first inning. We're going to have a quote about that coming from William Contreras and Freddy Peralta as well. But Robert Gasser giving up 5 hits and 2 earned runs as well to end the game. Not the most ideal situation for this Milwaukee Brewers team, although the bullpen still did their job in the middle. But when you're getting up a run in the first inning of this game, and the Brewers were the first team in the series to not get a run in the first inning of this game, it goes to show the style that this series has gone under. And having this team and having the team that goes out here, puts multiple runs up early, that's the situation that teams need to be in this series. It has worked, and I'm assuming, and really it's going to be pointing to, that exact same thing happening in Game 5. Now, going into this game as well, like I mentioned, the bullpen was really the big part that we needed to see go here, continue to hold down this Cubs team after their offense had finally hit a spark and got underway, while the Brewers did take a step back. And with that, 0 for 12 with runners on base is not going to be a situation where you're going to help your team win. And this is not on anybody in specific. This is just the Brewers not getting hits, not getting the runs off those hits, and not scoring with runners on base or runners in scoring position. But on Game 5, Saturday tomorrow at 7 p.m. CT, it's going to be a major different, a difference maker for this Brewers team on how they approach this game and how they adapt to what we're going to see. And I feel like this is something that the Brewers were not happy with. Of course, we know they're not happy with it, but going into Wrigley, I think they underestimated the crowd there. And I feel like that's something as well that they're not going to take into consideration here, for the remainder of the series. I think that's one game now at American Family Field. They're going to use that to their advantage. And Pat Murphy really did speak out about that and go off his idea. This is what he had to say on that. He said, "I admire our team. I have faith in our team. I think this has to happen this way, where there will be no tougher environment to play in than they just did. This is good. This is good pro for us. I'm certain we'll be ready to play in Game 5. And he goes on to say as well that I don't think they adjusted to how loud Wrigley was and what Wrigley was going to do to this Cubs team. And we saw the frustration they had in American Family Field. We saw the frustration that they had dropping those first 2 games. And the Brewers are going to need to channel that again. The Brewers fans, if you guys are going to that game and tomorrow, lock in, get ready, be loud, because this team is going to need it. But here in this game as well, like I mentioned, Freddy Peralta was a big risk to have in this game, especially when you're taking a look at him being in this game in an option to shut it out when there's a Game 5 on the table. And now having not just Quinn Priester out, not just Peralta out, there are a lot of questions surrounding what is going to happen in Game 5. And we're going to touch on that because now that Robert Gasser was the final pitcher not to throw in this series, did last night, we have some different opinions to kind of take away from this. But before we do jump into that, there's a few more quotes that we have, and this one coming out from Christian Yelich saying, "It's part of the story, man. Sometimes you're going to have to win some big games. You face some adversity in the postseason, and you have to keep going." Now, I feel like Christian Yelich has been very vocal this series, of course, as he has been all season, and this team knows their role. This team knows it's not going to be an easy series. Like I said, this team is ready to go in any scenario. They weren't taking this lightly. I didn't want to say it, but I knew we weren't going to sweep the Cubs, and it may have came down to this game. Ultimately, it did, and we know right now that it all comes down to this. This team is good at channeling what they did before, forgetting what they recently did, and they're going to need to make that happen. Now, that one pitch as well, like I said, that we really saw from Freddy Peralta that came out here, led the home run from Ian Happ in the first inning. Freddy Peralta, for me, it wasn't a mistake. It was a pitch we wanted, and he was just able to hit it really hard. William Contreras came out and said very similar. I think it could have been a better pitch. Credit to him for connecting on that pitch, though. So this team knows they made a mistake. They're going to adapt to it. They're going to come out of it, and we're going to go from there. Now, the big question is surrounding Game 5, what the plan is going to be for the pitching. And we now know a very limited set of ideas that the Cubs do have. These are their options. Trust Shota Imanaga at the start, go with an opener, or bring back Cade Horton. And I don't know which one they plan on going with. I'll be interested to see what they do if they do go an opener. I feel like more I'm leaning towards Shota throwing in here, even though he did not have a great first game in this series. But we know that he can bounce back, which is something the Cubs are going to need to adapt to. They've hit him well. They would need to do it again. But the big question here is the Brewers starting pitching. What is the plan? What is going to go down? And this is what we have from Kurt Hawk. Game 5 will be on the bullpen, which means it will, to some level, be on Jacob Misiorowski. I'll be ready to go, the rookie flamethrower said. So it does seem like Jacob Misiorowski is getting his, not necessarily start, but getting his opportunity in the postseason. He was very good in his first appearance. They are going to need to rely on him here in this game, regardless of if he starts or not. And William Contreras did throw some more information on top of this, coming out and saying that there is another option. He says, I don't know who's going to start. I don't know what the pitching plans are, but I know whoever is needed will be ready to go and ready to pitch in that game. If we need to start Abner Uribe, I'm sure Uribe will be ready to make that start. Now, this is an absolute major change in what we had originally thought, especially with Abner Uribe being this closer for the game. However, with Trevor Megill here back in this lineup, they can afford to use an opener in Abner Uribe. If they want to get a few shutout innings to start, an inning to 2 innings maximum, they are able to do that. Go Misiorowski, go Trevor Megill. They have the pitchers that can go and shut down this Cubs lineup, but it will be interesting to see which direction they do choose to take. And if we do have some more information again later today, I'll have another video on this, but as of right now, it seems like it's going to be an opener, whether it's Abner Uribe, Jacob Misiorowski, Trevor Megill, anybody else. There's going to be a lot of stuff on their plate for this Game 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know first of all, what you think about last game. Definitely not one we wanted to see. Not too much I wanted to kind of report on this because it was a tough game, tough to see, but we know we have to focus and lock in on Game 5, and this Brewers team is in the ready to do it. So let me know what you think, and especially let me know what you think about the pitching going into Game 5. But that is all I have in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later, and go Brewers.